guys, it's me, 𝗥𝗶𝗯𝗆 Rainbow.
And I'm Renata from the 𝗍𝗍, along with Cookie, my little dog, who has been barking continuously as we try to record things. So I just decided to bring her comfortable onto my lap. She's wrapped up like a big baby in a blanket.
Aww. And welcome back, us three to the, and y'all, so us four, to the episode 16 of the 𝗫𝗎𝘆𝘆 podcast. There was a little bit of a delay in this episode, of course. I had made posts everywhere on social media, so hopefully you guys saw that. So I'm sorry to everybody who may have missed us this Friday, but don't y'all worry. You're getting this episode, a little bit late. But don't worry, there's going to be an episode next Friday still with a bunch of extra stuff. And also, there is a Patreon exclusive that should be over there right now where me and Renata react to clips from the Fire Saga movie, which I have famously never seen until this moment. So if you guys want to go see that, of course, head over to our Patreon and subscribe over there. This is going to be a fun episode. There is like information overload. Okay, guys, we had so many artist announcements. We did kind of have to split this up a little because with the amount of information that has come out with us like recording later is insane. So some of the stuff that came out later in the week is going to be in the next episode next week, but we have artists from the Netherlands and Slovenia, as well as an artist and a song from Czechia. We also have all of the songs released for Estonia for Eesti Laul. So there's a lot going on. There's national selections, and oh my God, we have the Eurovision artwork logo. I don't really know what we're calling it. But we're going to talk about
the visual identity.
Exactly. We're going to talk about all that in this episode. But first, we want to give a shout out to our patrons. So these are people who went over to patreon.com and subscribed to support us over here on the podcast. And of course, if you would like to receive a shout out at the beginning of the episode, as well as gain access to the full-length video episodes of every single podcast, as well as the Patreon exclusives that we're posting over there. So shout out to Meredith, Daniel, Obili, Alistair, Russell, Shoegazer, Daniel, Kathleen, Sunniva, Norbert, Jackson, and our newest subscriber, Henny. So shout out to everybody. Yes, shout out, Henny! Thank you to everybody who has been subscribing over there. It's so much fun. And of course, going into the Eurovision season, there's going to be a lot of extra stuff. So shout out to everybody who supported us over on Patreon. And shout out to everybody who's been supporting us here on Spotify, on YouTube. The Spotify streams are up. I love to see it. I'm so happy to see that people are listening to us over on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube. And of course, if you want to support the podcast, apart from just subscribing on Patreon, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, leave a rating if you are on Apple Music or Spotify. Somebody did not give us 5 stars. I saw we're down to 4.8. So make sure you guys head over and leave a 5-star review on Spotify and support us over there. And just thank you to everybody. Shout out to everyone. And with that, let's get into the episode.
So before we get too deep down into Eurovision 2024 information, I just want to do a really quick plug for some stuff that's really exciting that's been happening over on my side, on the 𝗍𝗍 side. So for those of you who aren't as familiar with the 𝗍𝗍 is made up of me, and I do a lot of the YouTube videos, but the other half of the 𝗍𝗍, who started it all with me, is my friend, longtime friend, Greg. He and I actually met in Poland, despite both coming from small towns in Pennsylvania. We met in Poland, and we both love Eurovision, and that kind of like, we were already friends, but it kind of made our friendship come together, and then we decided to turn that into the 𝗍𝗍. And so Greg is actually an international award-winning graphic designer. This guy is amazing. He is so talented and creative and skilled. And what he did last year was a whole magazine of original artwork of all of the artists who competed in Eurovision. And he decided to do the same thing this year and make all of this amazing original art for all of the competitors of Eurovision 2023. And we are really excited to announce that in addition to the images that you can see over on Instagram, they are all on the Espot Pod Instagram account, but they're also on Greg's personal art account, 𝗏_hip. So you should definitely follow him and follow us if you haven't already. And he's been releasing like an advent calendar, a new picture every single day since the beginning of December. And he's been doing it in show order from the semifinals. So he was very considered about how he sent out these pictures. So in addition to those, we are going to be selling prints, high quality prints, and also some limited edition magnets and other cool stuff. I will put the links down here in the description so you can check out all of that stuff. What we're going to do is I actually already bought a few and I'm going to get them framed. I've even sent some to artists as Christmas presents. And I would love for you guys to hang some of Greg's original artwork in your house. So if you had a favorite act from this year, make sure you go and follow those accounts so that you can see the artwork and then maybe support us by buying one of those original pieces of artwork.
Yes, and honestly, Espot is unmatched when it comes to like the quality and just the visuals and everything like that. Greg is so freaking talented. Of course, also he's the one who did our logo and did all of our visuals that you see in this podcast. So, I mean, truly head over to the Espot and look at their merch and everything like that because it's sick. I love even some of y'all's stuff from the past. That 𝗏𝗏𝘅𝘆 shirt.
Yeah, the 𝗏𝗏𝘅𝘅 shirt's amazing. There's tons of stuff in our shop, actually. If you go to espotpod.com, our shop is full of really cool stuff, and you can buy the magazine from last year. And actually, that 𝗏𝗏𝘅𝘆 pattern, I did a vinyl print of that for my jean jacket that I had studded out that I wore in Liverpool. So we're always coming up with new things, new ideas. There's even a whole series of like historic posters that you can buy.
I love those. I love those so much. I love them so much. Those are so cute. I want to get them. I'm just so poor right now.
I think we can hook you up. I think we can hook you up for sure. I've got little postcard versions of them that I have hung up around my house too. I love them. And if you love artwork, you should definitely check out the artwork. Even if you just want to save it as the background on your phone, you can do that too.
Yeah, because also I know, y'all, Eurovision's official merch, it never gives. It never.
No, and it's expensive.
So it's crazy expensive. It's absurd. Because I was go buy stuff from Liverpool just for the experience, girl. No, I was buying the unofficial merch from the museums and stuff. But if you want some merch that really truly gives, it really is. I love y'all's stuff. Truly, I love those posters. I like the one that's blue and red. I don't know what year that is, but it's like
a white background with the blue and red. I think that's that might be the
retro.
1960s one.
Yeah, I love that one. I love this because it looks like you're like, I don't know, like you got that poster because you were at Eurovision 1969. And like it's pulled straight from that time. Like it literally looks like it's like official, artwork and merch from that time. It's like so well done.
He would love to hear that because that was totally what he was going for, was that like he wanted to have posters from back then, but they just don't exist. Like you can't buy them. And so he wanted them to exactly look like you described, like they were actually could have been the official designs.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll get some eventually.
I mean, maybe Eurovision should have actually just hired Greg because the official design here this year is There's been a lot of opinions about it. I'll say to start, I find it very uninspired and uninspiring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think that it's like bad design. I just don't think like it's enough.
Yeah. So let's explain this artwork a little. So they, in their initial kind of press release when they announced it, they said the artwork is based around the Eurovision lights, which is a concept created by mixing the Northern Lights and the power of music. And so it was inspired by the Aurora Borealis, and then it's kind of got this like equalizer vibe where it's pixelated and it combines the music and the Aurora Borealis. This is how they describe the font. Color palette is bold. The font even more so. It provides one of the most modern designs in recent contests. Okay. I mean, that's fair. It does look reminiscent of some things in modern times, which are, you know, I would say pop culture like iconography, which is the Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah.
It looks like Spotify Wrapped vibes. Like I'm expecting a little album thing to show up on the screen and it says, you have 5,000 listens of, you are in the top 0.0005% of the Portion Boys.
No. Yes. I did the math on that because I literally did get 0.005. I did the math based on their rap that they posted that had their total amount of listeners. And it meant that I was in the top 70 listeners. I didn't even learn about Portion Boys until March. Well, or I guess the end of February, but I didn't really start listening to them until March. So if I had been listening to them all year, I probably would have been in like the top 50 people, including obviously everyone in Finland. So yeah, I don't know whether to be proud or embarrassed.
I'm jealous. I've never gotten that high of a percentage. It's always like top 5, top 10. I'm never like the top. I wonder if you are the top artist or if you are the top listener. I wonder if it tells you. Because that'd be crazy.
I don't know if I want to know. I think, well, you know what? My Spotify stats would tell me. My Spotify stats definitely would tell me. Oh, my apps needs to update. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if I was. Yeah. But it is so funny. But yeah, but what's even funny too about the Portion Boys is that one of the things that popped up on the little video that they put out on Instagram, I think, when they were announcing it, is that they said that everybody was united under the same sky, which is literally the title of the Portion Boys song from 𝗏𝗏𝘆𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝘆𝗏 means under the same sky. So I literally saw that and I screenshotted it and I posted on Instagram and was like, wow, SVT and Eurovision is totally ripping off the Portion Boys. And they responded to it and they were like, oh, where is this? Like they were really confused, couldn't believe it. But like, yeah, no, you've been ripped off by Eurovision. Congratulations.
Had they won 𝗏𝗏𝘆 and then won Eurovision, it could have been the same thing. Who knows? We would have came to the same conclusion.
Yle would have put a much better branding package together, I think. They would never go for something as corny as Northern Lights. It's too stereotypical, I think, for Finland for them to do something like that. And makes no sense. A lot of people pointed out that like 𝗏𝗏 is like as south as you can get in Sweden.
Yeah, like I was looking into that because even I was like, well, first of all, I know nothing about the Northern Lights. All right. So first of all, I'm Googling when's the best time for the Northern Lights. Then I'm Googling, are the Northern Lights visible from 𝗏𝗏? Because I'm thinking, oh, maybe, oh my God, what a gag would that be if the Northern Lights were visible during Eurovision? Girl, no. Girl, they don't show in fucking 𝗏𝗏. Not just the location, but also just the light pollution. It's a bigger city. And they're not, you got to go outside of the city. So I don't really like, first of all, I don't get Northern Lights from it either. Like it's not like, I feel like if they, in reference to like logos that we've had in the past, like there's a way to like deliver Northern Lights if that's what you're trying to go for. I mean, this has no identity to it to me. This looks like it could be from anyone, anywhere. It could be many different countries, but it also doesn't come across like Northern Lights. So it doesn't necessarily to me speak Sweden, When I look at other logos from the past, like you can tell a lot. I mean, I think Portugal did a great job of having their country's identity in those logos, and they did like a bunch of different ones, girl, and all of them were a sleigh. They could have all worked. Remember, they had like nautilus shells, they had like all these different things. That was the main one, but then they had like jellyfish. They had all these different little sea creatures and stuff, and all of them were cute. This one doesn't speak Sweden to me, and it makes me sad because this year, like including the whole United by Music thing, which is, we talked about it in another episode, and we went in depth, and this kind of expands on that, where it feels like it's losing in terms of the branding, the like identity of the host nation in a way. And maybe this is just a one-off year. You know what I mean? Like maybe this idea is just not clicking for me and it doesn't represent Sweden, and so that's how I feel. But it makes me, you know, kind of like sad, because it feels like looking at this way, oh, we don't have a slogan that connects with Sweden, and now even the branding and the logos, like they're not, you know, it just feels very, this is like that corporate kind of way of branding. You know what I
That's
mean?
what I
But
was gonna say. It's like, if you
yeah.
remember Ruby Tuesdays, European listeners are not gonna know what the hell I'm talking about. Ruby Tuesdays was this restaurant chain that started in the 70s, and it was kind of very like, it was kind of very maximalist in their interior decorating. So it would be like lots, it was like stained glass lamps and like all kinds, like very dark and lots of stuff on the walls.
Mhm.
And then they did a rebrand like around like maybe 2015, and it was like, it just ended up looking like the inside of like a hotel chain lobby. Just like they stripped
Yeah.
all of the personality out of it. Everything got like reduced down to like very flat colors and no texture. And that's kind of that very corporate merchandising vibe that I get from it. And I just don't think that, I don't know. I don't think that it's adding anything. And I feel like if you're
Yeah.
going to like standardize the brand, at least have it have a little bit more of an identity other than just like a wash of colors.
Yeah, and that's what I'm also confused about, is like, is this the logo or is this just branding? Is this, because I'm seeing it saying this is the contest branding and artwork. Does that mean there's also going to be a logo? I don't know, because that, you know what I mean? Like I'm confused, because this isn't, well, first of all, this isn't a logo. It's not. It's
Not
just
a logo.
it's just not. It's not a logo. So is there not going to be a logo? Is this the replacement of that? Are they also thinking about getting rid of the year logos? Like I don't know what their plans are with that. Girl, also the font ain't bold. Don't describe it as bold, girl. That is a basic ass font. That is not bold. It doesn't even look like they clicked bold when they were adding it to the fucking file. It's thin as hell.
It's like definitely regular with lettering.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, and also I'm thinking as a person who makes like content and stuff, girl, I like to put the logos in my video like thumbnails. I can't use this.
Right?
You know?
Unless you do like a little like a swoop in the corner of the screen that has that kind of pixelated something or other. But it's a little bit strange.
How does this translate to merch or anything too? You know, you can't put like you just gonna put a square on a t-shirt?
I mean,
Like,
maybe this isn't everything, and they are going to give us more. But something feels really weird about something just feels off about how they're doing all of their announcements, and like they just released tickets and they barely announced it. There was no heads up that tickets would be released.
Did you like? Are you talking about the second release of tickets that they just
did?
Like I was like, wait a second, wait, I'm sorry. Where was the announcement for that? All of a sudden, I'm just like, I wake up and I see on Facebook, in like a Facebook Eurovision group, people are like, oh, tickets are on sale. I look at the time, girl, that was 5 hours ago. I was like, I'm sorry. Some of us are like, also, yeah, we're not in Europe. A lot of us, we are not in Europe. So we're not awake during those announcements. So even if you're just like, oh yeah, maybe they made an announcement and they said, okay, surprise, some tickets are on sale. Yeah, but like not everybody is from Europe in that time zone. And so we're not even going to be awake to see that kind of stuff. So we have to just like wake up and see, oh, they put on tickets. Like it's like, at least when you give us a day in advance, we can know to set our alarms to wake up on time.
Right.
Like, and you know, yeah, it's just, I'm very confused, because that's the thing is, if this isn't the logo, girl, why did they do a whole ass announcement like it was? You know, like,
and maybe the logo truly is just going to be like the Eurovision with Sweden's flag in the middle of it. Maybe that will be the logo. That's just, and that's it.
And you know what though? Here there is like ways to turn it around. I do feel like, Northern Lights can be a fun, cute little concept for the logo. And there are still things that they can do. So like I'm hoping that this is just the design and there's going to be a cute little logo. I just love the logos. Like I like to try to get merch of the contest. I
Yeah.
like to get little things that like have, and like the logos are always, I feel like, well, not always. I didn't really like last year's, but most of the time I really like the merch, and I think they're like really cute, pretty designs that I enjoy having like on a t-shirt and that sort of thing. And girl, they always release some merch like we said earlier, and it's always ugly. And they're just adding on to that.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess maybe to like sum up my feelings about this announcement is it's like I'm not mad about it. I don't think it's like the worst thing ever. But I feel like with something like a visual identity, your first impression should be wow. And if you're not getting wow, then you have a problem right out of the gate. And I didn't really I saw some people defending the design, like on Twitter, but it wasn't that they were defending it that like they thought it was amazing. It was just that they were defending it against very specific criticisms about like what minimalism and modernism actually are. So it was more of like art history level kind of analysis of the designs. It wasn't people saying I love the design and the design makes me feel something. And I think that's kind of what design should do. It should make you feel something, and it didn't make me feel anything. And I think that's just that's what makes it a miss. And like you said, they could redeem, but it's not off to a good start, I don't think.
No, and I mean, listen, I love a little color. I love a little rainbow. As I sit here, fully gray neutral. Like I'm fully black and white right now. But I love a little color, and I like the idea of like neon, like super duper bright lights. And I do honestly like the idea of the aurora borealis. But girl, that's one of the most beautiful natural things in this world. And this is like there's so much you can bring from that. And this don't do it justice.
Even the pixels don't actually make sense because when you look at the auroras, there's no 90-degree angles about them. They're all wavy.
It's the smoothness. It's the perfect gray. Like it's all of those things. It's just literally like, and I mean, it's not like it's actually even the colors.
No, they're like way too pastel.
Yeah, and like bright. Like these are like super crazy bright. Which so it's really just like what the concept of like a rainbow and gradient, suggestion of a gradient.
Talk about concepts though. The Netherlands 2021 concept was so awesome because it was like all of those diagonal stripes. It was the direction that every country was from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And then it was their flag inside of those bars. Like it made sense. People thought about it. It wasn't just like, I don't know. It felt like it just had a lot more thought into it.
Yeah.
It was maybe a bit clunky, but it wasn't a graceful design, but it actually had some substance in it.
That's what I was gonna say. Well, I did find that logo to be frankly really ugly, but I love, like, if you're gonna do something ugly, at least make it like a really cute concept that actually like makes sense. Not that this concept doesn't make sense, but I guess it's just like that was something I could really like appreciate, I suppose, because of like the story that went behind it. Whereas this is just like, okay, but I mean, like, okay. Do you have any favorite logos ever? Any ones that stand out for you?
Yeah, actually, I think it was another Swedish contest. The one with the lips, I think that was Stockholm.
Oh, yeah. Really, the lips?
The Eurovision logo with the lips, was that Stockholm?
Oh, I think it was. I'm just surprised that you would name that as a favorite. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that one. It just like maybe what we should do actually, we should do some we should do like a one of those tier rankings Maybe we could do that at the Patreon.
Oh my God, yes. We should totally do that. We'll wait till we like know for sure. Y'all let us know in the comments just so we can like confirm. We'll confirm that this is like the logo before we do it, and that would be really fun to do.
We have to do that. That would be. We should see if we can maybe get Greg to join us on that one, because I know he's
oh my God, no, we totally should. Yes, that's a great idea.
He's got some favorites in here that I know, because I think also some of the posters that he made, he kind of chose his favorite logos as like the years that he would do because he was inspired by them. So that would be really fun.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a fun idea. And bringing it back to when you mentioned the Netherlands, we have some artist announcements.
Yes.
Which are insane. So the Netherlands made their announcement very surprisingly to me. It was kind of, I mean, frankly, all these artist announcements were just kind of out of nowhere. But they announced just suddenly. We saw the little intro to Tattoo and who was there for the Netherlands, but we saw Joost Klein announced as the artist to be representing the Netherlands. Y'all, okay, so first of all, for those of you who have been listening to this podcast, like we did mention him. Well, I did. At the time, Renata had not like heard of him. I made you go listen to some of his music, but I said, this is who I wanted. Even with the likes of 𝗬𝗆𝘆 in the running, I said, nope. This is what the Netherlands needs to do. He was on a total like campaign, posting all the time about how he should represent Eurovision. He ended up doing some shit with 𝗥𝗲𝘆. I think he like performed at one of his shows, and they did a bunch of TikToks and stuff like that.
They were kicking it.
And it makes total sense. They really should do a song together, especially now that he is going to Eurovision. So the chair of the selection committee from the Netherlands, and I'm gonna attempt to say his name. 𝗬𝗏𝗏. No, I turn into French. 𝗬𝗏𝗏 van de. How the fuck would you even say this last name? 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝘆𝘆. I don't know even how Dutch works, frankly. Like I'm going into like another language of sorts.
I think it's 𝗤𝗏 van de Nieuwenhuizen.
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. See, I feel like with language, I'm like, I want to like Frenchify everything and like, and like, but Dutch is like van. It's not Vaughn. It would
van.
Be van. Well, okay. So this is the chair of the selection committee said, following a careful and multi-phase process, the selection committee ultimately opted for Joost Klein. There were a lot of entries from a wide range of genres, but in our view, his had the most hit potential. In the song, you hear his familiar mix of party and nostalgia. With his enormous creativity, we think Joost can put on a great show in a totally original way that the Netherlands and Europe are in for a positive surprise. We really look forward to working with him. So his style is described as energetic and combines elements from mainstream pop with happy, hardcore, and pop punk. And I'm just so excited because I feel as though this is what the Netherlands needs. They need a wake-up call. They need an artist that is going to like reinvigorate their excitement for Eurovision and get people excited about the Netherlands again. Because I just feel like even with Duncan Lawrence winning, like I just feel like the excitement of Eurovision just ain't there. We're just not excited about what the Netherlands is going to bring these last few years. And I mean, and that's not to say with me saying that, that's not to say I haven't loved entries from them in the past, but it has been kind of very samey. It's been kind of, a lot of the times like darker or ballads and emotional, and like that's what it is. But like, come on guys, like we want to have some fun. And especially with the televote only semis and what we saw with the Netherlands last year and queuing, I think now more than ever, if you want to make it to that final, you got to get something that's going to grab the attention of the viewers. And I feel as though he's the perfect person to do that. He also has a crazy hit song, which is like went viral on TikTok, even all the way over here to the US, but especially it went #1 in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And that's his song 𝗶𝗆𝘅𝘆𝘆. or something like that. Love this song. First of all, bitch.
It's a great song.
In a vine lekker, ich bin motherfucker. Like such a good. Oh, and literally, he's one of those people. Like I go through his entire discography, all hits to me. Like I love everything that he does. Because it's also experimental. It's so different. It's so weird. It's like shit I've never heard before. It's like, I don't know. I just love him so much. I'm so happy he's gonna be, and that's my twin. That's my twin.
Yeah, it totally looks like boy you. It's actually really funny. Like you can actually do a boy look for this year. Like
and trust and believe I'm planning.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about this because I think I've mentioned before that like outside of Eurovision music, like I actually grew up in like a punk hardcore scene as a teenager, and then when I went to college in Poland, I was heavy into the techno scene in Poland. And at the time, like 2009, 2010, in Poland, happy hardcore was making a huge comeback. Every kind of hard style was really, really big. I dated a hard style DJ. But like, I was just blown away at the idea that there would be a happy hardcore song in Eurovision, because when I was living in Poland, when I was living like my techno DIY lifestyle, I would tell people I like Eurovision and they would be like, oh, Eurovision, oh, like it's so commercial. It's, why do you like that? Like you listen to like hardcore, how can you like hardcore and like Eurovision? And it was like, I never saw like a reason why you can't like both. Like to me, it was like, well, it's all just music. And so, but Eurovision was very different back in the 20 teens than it is now. So I think it's just really cool. And like, that type of hard style, like 𝗥𝗶𝗆 is a genre that most people probably don't know, but 𝗥𝗶𝗆 is a hard style, techno hard style from the Netherlands. So like when you talk about music being cultural, like people don't always think about techno or electronic music as being cultural, but like this is very like culturally representative of like hard style music from the Netherlands, which is kind of like one of the biggest places for that type of music. So it's really like, it's kind of things coming full circle for me. And like, I didn't know Joost Klein before any of this, but I'm really happy that I do now, because it's definitely the type of music that I already like. And to have that brought into the Eurovision fold is just really awesome. And like, thank you, 𝗥𝗶𝗆, for bringing more alternative people to not just show that you can have people like you in Eurovision, but that you can do well in Eurovision with something that is not like a typical mainstream song. So I'm happy the Netherlands picked him. And I thought that the way that all the press came out about it, they weren't even talking about Joost Klein. They were talking about two other people who had like ballads like the day before some press release.
Yeah.
They did a bait and switch on us.
I know, which I kind of live for, but I was all mad on Twitter over shit that didn't even end up being real. I mean, that's what was crazy to me, because like all those names were coming out. Apparently it was just like what, some random radio station said that those were the potential 3 artists, and they were like 3 women. One of them was that girl 𝗫𝗁𝗆 or whatever, that song from, was it 𝗫𝗁𝗆? Whatever. Y'all know that 2010 Netherlands song that sucked, but it was the last one that was in Dutch. Was it? No, S10. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. But it sucked. So I'm glad that they went with him. There is, some controversy that I wanted to talk about, which was, a trend that's becoming all too common with every single artist that seems to get announced, which is their potential connection to Russia.
Well, this is going to be the first of 2 of these types of controversies that we're going to talk about.
Exactly. So basically, the controversy came from, part of me feels like, should I continue giving this person airtime? But I don't have specific beef with them, so whatever. But with Eurovania, like Eurovania always starting shit.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
what
so
is this?
funny. Like, and what everyone cares about what Eurovania has to say for some reason.
I know, and frankly, I do too. So basically, Joost has a song called Jackass, where there are lyrics in it where it makes reference. It says like, "Hello, my name is Joost Klein. Sorry, I love Russia, man. I really want to marry a Russian woman. I want a Russian lady. Is like literally that's what he says. That's what he says. And I believe that was so that's with a group called Russian Village Boys. And so, people see that and they're like immediately like, oh my God, this is a pro-Russian song. Like he's like, I don't know what, just like he's working with this Russian Village Boys, which I don't know. They just immediately they assume, of course. I mean, that makes sense if you can't like understand maybe humor and irony and stuff, which are all kind of things that he utilizes with all of his songs. Like you go so extreme with something and it's not meant to actually be taken seriously. And also there is like Russian people do exist, and just because they exist doesn't mean they're pro-Russia, which is the case with the Russian Village Boys, who have literally left Russia after the invasion, and they completely denounced it. They have all these different things that I was seeing that they like did concerts and they had merch and stuff, and all the sales went to Ukraine. Like, it's like, damn. Like same with Vesna, and it just happens to, oh my God, like every single year now it's fixing to be a thing. And it's like with Little Big as well, like all of these artists. I had to make a post because it happened twice this week, and we'll talk about it. But like it happened twice this week, and I was like, guys, like you can't just hate someone because of their nationality or their ethnicity. If you have hate, listen, and y'all know I'm pro-hate. I am pro-hate. But if you're gonna hate someone, like hate them for their actions. You can't hate someone for their ethnicity or their nationality. You just
Polina Gagarina, hate her for going and doing those rallies with Putin.
Yeah, same with what's his name? Sergei Lazarev. Like fuck those people. They all have specifically come out and said, y'all, not only do we love Russia, not only do we stand with them, we are also going to participate in all of their propaganda campaigns and everything like that. Like that's where we draw the line. It was so far to the extent to where they had to come out and make a statement that basically was like, guys, this is not like, there was no political affiliation. That's nothing of the sort, just like stop creating just drama. Like for what?
Well, I just want to say a few more things about this whole controversy, actually, before we jump ahead. Sorry. Because I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate here. I think the lyrics, I love Russia man, I really want a Russian woman, I want a Russian lady, they're weak. Okay. They're weak.
They are.
It is a little bit weird that they would put out this song when the war was already in progress, but people sometimes record things way early beforehand.
And especially if it's a collaboration, like it didn't happen like a year after. It happened pretty
right, like it was already in the works. But one thing that I noticed is that there were a lot of Ukrainian people who were saying, like, this makes me uncomfortable. I don't like this. And I understand where those people are coming from. I do. I don't necessarily agree with them, but I know that their situation, like they're hearing the word Russia has a different impact on them because of what they experience in their day-to-day life and the way that their world has been turned upside down by that country. So it makes sense that, you see people who feel that way. I am a bit disturbed by people who jump into their mentions to tell them why they're wrong for feeling that way. And it's like, true. You know what? You can just keep scrolling. Like, this person is like, having an emotional response to something that impacts their daily life, that is traumatic for them. Don't tell them that they're being over the top. If you think they're being over the top, say it to yourself out loud, write it down and save it in your drafts forever. There is no reason to say that to somebody. Just move on. And so like, I think that's something where people just need to like, you don't have to agree with every person's opinion about something, but you don't have to fight with them in their mentions about it either. Like just fact chill. Just chill. Especially too, because like Russia is a huge country. There's tons of people in Russia. There's tons of people who have parents who one is Russian and one is from somewhere else, or they were born in Russia and they moved to another country, which we'll talk about. And like you need to give people and you need to give artists a little bit of grace sometimes, and stop trying to attack people before you know all of the facts about them.
Yeah, I think that's the troubling thing when these situations arise, because similarly with Vesna, it was kind of like, listen, I don't fault you. When I saw those lyrics, I said, girl, hold on, wait a second. What's this about?
And I never liked it from the beginning for that reason. So like I understood why other people didn't like it, but then they took it to a whole other level where they were attacking.
That's the thing, because okay, I totally get seeing that and that making you uncomfortable. And I also totally get, even after you get the information of the group, like specifically not supporting Russia and everything like that, even after you get that information, I understand if you still can't like feel like you can support them because of that, because it's totally fair to feel like that's just in bad taste. Like, why would you like, given the circumstances, whatever. I totally understand that. But there's a certain point to where once you get the information, it was not coming from the place that you thought it was. There's a certain point where you just, I understand you still feeling those feelings inside, but what more do you want from those people to continue to at the network? They got to be disqualified. Da, 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 da. It's like, no, because they didn't do anything, like that warrants that. And they gave you the explanation. And if it's not good for you, it is what it is. Don't support them and move on from that. Or feel your feelings. But that's the thing, is going into that person's space, or going into somebody who maybe still wants to continue to support them, going into them and like attacking them for supporting them. It's like, like, damn. And then, I'm always like, well, what do you want them to do? 'Cause that was my thing with Vesna. I was like, what do you want them to do? What? I mean, I know what they wanted them to do. They wanted them to kick her out of the group. But like, especially if you're the artist that's from there, like, you're sitting there like, damn, I denounced them. I did everything I could. What am I supposed to do? Kill myself?
And with that, like, too, imagine kicking out a woman from your group when the whole thing is about like sisterhood beyond things like borders. Like it would be very hypocritical if they had kicked her out.
Yeah, and so, I'm glad that like it seems as though it's more so just like a smaller group of people that are continuing it, as opposed to Vesna last year. It felt like it was a long time, I felt like, of that going on. And even like once we were closer to Eurovision, I remember I was still like supporting their song and people were still acting like that was a problem because of that. So I don't know. But moving on, speaking of Czechia and everything like that, and the whole situation. So we had Aiko win 𝗫𝗍 with her song Pedestal. And if you guys watched the last episode, you would know that was both of our favorites. So of course we gave like, our thoughts on her song and her live performance in that. That was our favorite. Did you end up voting for her? I think at the time you hadn't yet.
I did vote for her.
So we both voted for Aiko. So we were excited. The timeline was not excited, but we were excited.
I was thrilled.
I remember you literally tweeted the night before and you said like, oh, I don't know what you said, like, I hope I wake up to that, or
it was a little like candle prayer circle that I wake up with Aiko being the winner.
Yeah, and of course I was still awake when she was announced at like 3 or 4 a.m. And so I quote tweeted, I was like, I can't wait for her to wake up and see this.
And that was the first mention that I saw too. I was like, I'm like still in bed. I'm like, yes.
I know. So I'm very excited. I love this song so much. Obviously, I did a little inspired look by her today. I don't know if this is the inspired look, but I threw on my 𝗫𝗍𝘆 wig. And this dress is a little inspired. Like, I just thought it's the closest thing I have to the outfit. I mean, mine's a little more cinched. Hers started the bustling up here, but mine's cinched at the waist and neck pulled out. But but you know, I had to honor the queen, you know. I'm very excited. I do really, really love the song. And the thing is, there is time to work on the vocals. So I'm not worried about that.
No, I'm not worried about her vocals. I also, it was like there were so many things with that national final itself that it was just not like ideal for that. Also, she was going for it as if she was singing at like a regular venue concert, which is what that was. It wasn't like a studio, it was a concert venue. And Miss Domi sounded like shit every single time she picked up a microphone until she got to the semifinals at Eurovision. So
Facts.
I mean, it's, you know, it's whatever. I'm really excited for this one. I'm really happy to see, like, it's funny that there's so many songs already that fit like like the type of music that I like. Like, it's actually kind of a weird amount of songs for it to be so early with so few songs. Like, we started with France, which is not my thing.
I know.
But then it's like, okay, Joost Klein, like, I'm into that. Aiko, my winner has won. Like, okay. There's some like good songs in other selections too, where I'm like, this could actually be like one of the stronger years for me.
Yeah, this year is getting really, really stacked. It's kind of wild. I mean, I hope, you know, to be fair, this is the first national selection. So,
yeah,
you know, there's still so much to be announced and everything. It could really go downhill. But frankly, looking at like kind of like what we've got going on, you know, looking at what we've got going on so far, I'm like, you know, even if there was just like 5 people I love, like, girl, we're fixing to have that, you know, like, it's nice to right at the beginning be like, all right, I have some people I can stand and love and like their songs and like the artists and everything, and being excited about it. So just a little bit more about 𝗫𝗍 and how the results turned out. So this was kind of like the drama, right? Was the fact that the votes were split between the international and the Czech votes, but the international votes had 70% weight and the Czech votes had 30%. I did see stuff about like the math being done incorrectly. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand math. Right.
Me either. I'm bad at math. But what I got from that thread was that even if they had done the math correctly, the result wouldn't have been changed. So like, why the fuck are we even talking about it?
Exactly. So the kind of the drama was that she got the majority, like a huge majority of the international votes, and 𝗫𝗆 got the huge majority of the Czech votes. So internationally, Aiko, it came down to them two in the end. Internationally, Aiko got 33,000 and 𝗫𝗆 only got 7,000. But with the Czech votes, 𝗫𝗆 got 24,000 and Aiko only got 2,000, which actually would have meant that Aiko was in the bottom 3 of the Czech votes, which is, you know, because even 𝗦𝗹𝘆 got 6,000, Tom Sean got 3,000, 𝗫𝗆 got 4,000. Girl, 𝗫𝗆 got 4,000. Yeah, that's why the Czech Republic is. That's why the Czech citizens are not picking their damn artists. Looking at that. But like again, like the results really, they don't matter, or not. They don't matter regardless of how it's weighted. In the end, Aiko got the most votes, and so 35,000 total in comparison to 𝗫𝗆's 32,000. And then 𝗦𝗹𝘆, who I felt like everybody thought was going to win, only got 13,000 votes, which is still a good amount. This is a huge increase compared to last year as well. It's like insane. I think last year, I don't want to say numbers because I don't remember, but it was something like, okay, 20,000, and this year they got like 90,000. Like, it was like a massive increase. So that's great to see. And frankly, looking at these Czech votes, because I did compare them to last year, there's still a huge increase also just in the Czech votes.
Good.
So yeah, because I think a lot of people were saying like, oh, this whole like international, you know, votes being favored thing is gonna turn off the Czech citizens from wanting, you know, having interest, but it doesn't look like it.
I don't buy that either, because and I got into it with a couple people after it all happened, because I think it's really smart to do international votes for a national final, because they're the ones who are voting in the semifinals. And people were saying like, yeah, but we're choosing a representative for the countries and it should be what the people in the countries want. And it's like, okay, well, internal selections aren't choosing people, based on what the country wants. It's choosing people based on what a committee wants. So that argument kind of goes out of the window. And more importantly, most Czech people do not care about Eurovision at all. They probably don't know that 𝗫𝗍𝗫 even happened.
Yeah.
What is going to deter it? By the time, if they did watch it and their favorite didn't, if their favorite was the person who came second place, Eurovision's 5 months away. They're going to forget about it by then. And they're just going to go into nationalism mode and root for their country. And if you want people to watch Eurovision, you need to get to the final. So it's an all public televote to get into the final. You need to choose the song that the international audience is actually going to pick up the phone to vote for. And it just, I just don't believe that there would be people who would be turned off enough that they would decide to not watch Eurovision. Also, can we please look back a few years to what happened with Chanel with Slow Mo in Spain? Because she was not the public vote winner. And people were like, people made her like leave social media because they were saying, she's not our choice. Don't vote for her. Don't vote for her. And then what happens?
Yeah.
And then what happens is it becomes like the mango wars on Twitter of people. By the time Eurovision comes around, and everyone still to this day, years later, people are still saying that Chanel won, even though she won neither the public vote or the jury vote, and she came in third, and still, but somehow she's the winner. And I bet if you went through a lot of those people's tweets, they would, if you went back to when the contest happened, they would say that she wasn't the real representative. So it's like a lot can change in those few months, and when it comes down to it, you just have to stand behind your representative.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's the thing. And I saw actually Eurovision Tom was talking about how, like, we don't know the specific details, but there's rumblings and rumors that like Czechia's participation is, of course, always on the rocks. Like, we know that for sure. We always know every single year. It's like a question, will Czechia return? And the rumblings are that like it might just be based on basically like their results. And he said there were like rumors that if they hadn't gotten a top 10 spot, that they would not have been able to return to Eurovision. They just wouldn't have gotten the funding. And so that makes sense that if your funding and your potential participation is based upon your results in the contest, then yeah, girl, no, our number one priority is being able to continue to participate. And so we want to prioritize the people who are going to be able to vote for us.
Yeah, totally. I think that makes perfect sense. And I think the fact that they did get a top 10 last year might have something to do with the reason that they had increased audience this year. So if Aiko does really well, I wouldn't be surprised if 𝗫𝗍𝗫 yet again gets a little bit more money, a little bit nicer production level, a little bit more viewers, more people voting. Maybe they should move towards a payment-based voting system to get a little bit of extra cash. Like, I mean, I think this could be a glow up. And it could be a great example of how you can turn around public perception of the contest and public interest in the contest for those countries that maybe are struggling with that, because there are others where they just don't have enough public interest to justify going. And maybe this is the strategy. Like maybe that's the strategy.
Yeah, because I mean, like you said, I don't believe that the Czech audience not having 100, like having the, some countries, those are the only people who get to vote. It's actually very special that the international people get to vote. But I don't really think that matters, because at the end of the day, most people are truly not watching national selections even. Most of the viewers, unless you're one of those rare national selections that really like has that going for them. But the majority of them, people are watching Eurovision. So they don't even know who is competing in the national selection. So like you said, like, they're rooting for the person that they see as their representative. They were announced as their representative. Cool. That's our girl, Yeah,
I also saw some people making the argument that like, well, sending your person to Eurovision, it's about having someone represent you. And it's like, Is it really? I thought it was about winning a contest. You know, it's like sport. Like a lot of sports teams are very happy to have people from other places on their team if they're going to win the championship for them.
Right. I mean, and that always kind of did make me confused when I would like see shit about sports. I'm like, hold on, wait a second. Like you're not even like, how do you end up here? But yeah, it's not like Eurovision, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not like that at all. But speaking of that kind of thing, so there was again like similar, not similar, but like in that Russian controversy is the fact that she was born in Moscow. And that's the controversy.
With millions of other people who were born in Moscow and moved elsewhere. I have a friend from high school who was born in Moscow and moved out and never even goes back to Russia. And they brought up her birth, that they brought up that she was born in Russia. So as soon as they brought that up, it's like, okay, clearly they know. They brought it up. They've certainly vetted her. They wouldn't have allowed her to compete. Oh, that's another thing is some people dragged up a video of her performing the song at a concert and they were like, she has to be disqualified. This is a public release of the song. And it's like, yeah, well, apparently
it's that
Jamala
same song and dance.
Like, so, you know, it's
girl,
just
everybody's performed their damn songs. I swear every fucking winner. Those songs were performed years before. I know Duncan Lawrence did it. Girl, everybody does that. And the fucking video of her is literally on a stage where it looks like there's literally just like 5 kids. That looks like that's the audience, is 5 children in front of that stage. It was like, girl, it has to literally, the way that, for those of y'all who don't know, the way that rule needs to work is, number one, most of the time, if it was just being performed at a live venue, it doesn't matter. It pretty much needs to have been commercially released and have some sort of like, you know, sign that it would affect the way regular people looking at it, watching the show, would potentially vote for it, you know. And it has to be actually released. Performing it on a stage is not actually released. You know, the artists, oh my God, what if a video came out of them in the recording booth from before September 1st? Like, you know, there's other people in that room that saw her singing that song when it was being recorded before September 1st. Like, girl, that's not how that works.
Right. Also, it's like, who posted the video? It's one thing if Aiko posts a video of her performing her song at the festival. When Joe Blow fucking posts a video that he took at the children's fair of Aiko singing a song and puts it on YouTube, that does not constitute a commercial release because an attendee posted it. It's not the same thing.
But the video has like 4 views. Like, okay.
Yeah. But so, and it's very weird that it seems like that account got created just to bring up this information. I have an idea who might be behind it. Someone who we've maybe talked about before, who also has so many people who have blocked them that now they need to find another outlet to get their bullshit out on the internet. That's just what I think. That's my own speculation. But there had also been posts of a picture of Aiko at a music festival with a Russian flag around her shoulders. Mm-hmm. Okay. Conveniently, the date was cropped out of the picture. It was like an Instagram picture. So there would be a date on how many weeks ago it had been posted. I don't know because I didn't go to find it because I just couldn't be bothered. But I highly doubted as soon as I saw the picture that she would have ever posed with a Russian flag after the war started. And like you kind of said, like, just because you're born in a certain place, like, doesn't mean like that you're a simp for Putin.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, that was hilarious to me because their only evidence, they were like, no, you don't understand. She supports Russia. Here's this picture of her with a Russian flag around her from, I don't, again, like you said, I don't remember the exact amount. Girl, it was something absurd, like 500 weeks ago. Like, it was something from like 2014, girl, like something crazy like that. It was so long ago. And even if, like, that's the thing, I don't like the mentality of like, okay, well, she doesn't have to, like, I mean, and some people do, and that's great. She doesn't have to denounce where she's from. As an American, there's plenty of horrific things, I mean, that it's going on right now. It's always going on. There's a lot of stuff that happens in America that we don't agree with, that I don't agree with, that I'm ashamed of my country, just because. But not, you don't have to move out of the country and completely denounce everything. I still, want the best for where I'm from. I'm still going to be here rooting on home soil, rooting for Trump's downfall. Just because he's president, I'm going to still do that. So, she could, like, and if I were to wrap an American flag around me, that doesn't mean I agree with every single thing that happens, that the government does, or that, all the bad things that the government does. It doesn't mean I support that. I'm American.
Yeah, on the 4th of July, I like to wear an Old Navy t-shirt with a little American flag on it. It doesn't mean that I support the military-industrial complex. It means I support the Old Navy
Betsy Ross.
Complex, perhaps. Betsy Ross. I've been to the Betsy Ross houses in Philadelphia.
I went to it as well. I only went to Philadelphia one time in my life, and I went to see that, and I went to see, the bell, the Liberty Bell, and then my mom, the old woman that she is, even though this was like 15 years ago, the old woman that she is deleted all the photos on the digital camera, and we have no evidence of that ever happening. But I went there for a gymnastics meet. I don't think I placed at all. I never really did. I did horrible in gymnastics. I used to always cry.
Oh my God, that's funny. I didn't know you did gymnastics. That's some very deep lore.
I know. But yeah, hey, I love her, and I'm on my stan mode. And then we had one more artist that we're going to be talking about in this. Of course, this is coming late, but we had one more artist that was announced. Speaking of stan card from me, girl, Slovenia announced that their representative was going to be none other than the queen, the icon herself, Raiven. Oh my God. So I was so excited when I saw this. So a little background on Raiven. She is a mezzo-soprano singer. No idea what that means, but I'm going to hit up Honest Vocal Coach. She can let me know. She's an author, songwriter, harpist, and she's representing Slovenia in Eurovision 2024 with her song Veronica. She also competed in EMA. She's like a fan favorite girl. She competed in 2016, 2017, and most recently 2019. And she's always been like potential winner, like fan favorite every single year she's competed. Like people love her. She's always been this close to winning. And this is something that people have been, asking for from Slovenia, I feel like for so long now. The song is coming out with her EP, a Siren, and it's kind of going with this whole vibe, seems to be, which I'm very excited about for her Eurovision entry, but also her EP is like this dark, eerie, mythical, magical. So I guess there's this story behind Veronica is a well-known figure in Slovenian history and folklore. The Raiven describes it as, not the Raiven, Raiven, her name, describes it as the symphony of the sirens, and draws upon not only Veronica's supposed witchcraft, but the stories of several legendary female figures from across history. Girl, this got me excited! The Song of the Sirens, and if there's anybody to do it, is Raiven. She's an amazing opera singer, and she's one of those talented artists that, like, I've seen her like performances in like with symphonies and stuff like that, and she's like singing classical opera, and she's just so freaking talented. But none of her EMA songs ever really showed that to me. She came out with this song called like Icona or something like that. It's like a collab with someone else, and she finally utilized her opera talents in that, and mix of that with opera, or mix of that with pop. And it's so good. And I remember when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. And she was being rumored. I was like, oh, I hope she brings something like that. And then when she confirmed that it is going to have like opera elements to it, girl, I'm excited. But it's not going to be too much opera elements. I know she already said that. It's just like a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know her, but I watched kind of like a little like compilation clip that had kind of, snippets of her songs. And I was surprised by that every song sounded different. So I was like, okay,
Mhm.
I don't really know what she could possibly be giving us just because she's done a lot of different things. Like she's a very versatile artist, which is good.
Mhm.
It's good to have a versatile artist. Um, her like visual like look and everything is strong too. So I mean, I feel like it's smart for a country to internally select a fan favorite.
Mhm.
Don't put them through the ringer of a national final. Like I thought like when SBS chose Voyager, like that was
Mhm.
smart because people
Yeah.
liked them already.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially I thought I heard earlier in the season that Slovenia was going to be doing EMA again. I don't
That's
know.
what I heard too. I thought they said there would be like 5 songs and then there was just like they just decided to select her.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she submitted to EMA and they just thought she had the best song and then we were going to go with that, or if they just really liked her song and they were like, you know what, we feel confident in this to send this to Eurovision.
I
I'm
mean,
so
why
excited.
waste money on a national final if you think you got the one?
Exactly. And honestly, they did internally select Joker out last year and they didn't get like the greatest result in Eurovision, but if you want a country also, honestly, there's still somebody to be proud of. Like
Mm-hmm.
speaking of countries that maybe want to just encourage their music industry from within their own country. Like Joker Out has been doing so well. They are such a great like export from Slovenia and great representatives, regardless of if they got like bottom half of the scoreboard in the final, they still have like reached so much success, and it represents great for Slovenia in the contest too. Like Joker Out, they're like headlining or not headlining, but well, I don't know if headlining is the right word. Whatever, they got all they're going doing all
Touring,
these
yeah.
shows. Yeah, they're sold out in all these venues, girl. They're doing great.
You know what's
So
funny? Someone recently pointed out that the Portion Boys have more listeners than Joker Out.
I
And I
mean,
was like, wow, like there's only 6 million people in Finland. Like that's kind of
yeah.
crazy.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me though. I feel like the Portion Boys are just like that girl.
They damn right they are that girl. Oh wait,
You
now I'm
know?
gonna backtrack because now that app talk
Mm-mm.
listeners. Let's see, where
Speaking
do
of
I
the Portion
land?
Boys, where do you land?
Oh, mm.
What?
take a take a guess where I land in a range. This is
Um,
lifetime listeners of the Portion
I'm,
Boys on Spotify.
oh, okay. I'm gonna guess top 20.
Yes, be more specific.
Be more specific. 14.
One of the numbers is right.
4. Number 1.
Yes.
No, you're fucking lying. No. How the fuck? Ah!
I
Oh my god.
I am
Ah.
now the number one all-time listener Portion Boys. 9,516 minutes. The next person is 9,200 or 9,000. I'm 9,500. The next person's 9,200. The next person is 8,000.
Girl. That how does it feel to know you are literally statistically their number 1 fan?
I am not even just their number one international fan. Like I am like their number one fan.
Like, a lot of people try to claim that title, but you took it. You
And you
got
know
the
what
fact to back
is
you up.
so funny is that I have never been like a stan for
Mm-mm.
anybody. The only group that I was ever like super obsessed with was like Maroon 5 when I was in 7th grade. And that
Mhm.
it wasn't like this. Like I was never this obsessed.
Yeah.
I had like a crush on the guys in Maroon 5 and would like go on their message board back when message boards were a thing. But like
Mhm.
I literally have because I'm a concert person. Like I'll go to a concert of a band that I've never heard of before. I like
Mm.
music. I like listening to all different kinds of music. I've never like honed in on one thing
Yeah.
where it's like that's my band. And I found my band. That is fucking incredible.
That is so I love that for you.
Oh my
Ah,
god. I hope they
so
know how much I appreciate
we got the
them.
#1 Portion Boys fan right here. We got the exclusive.
Yeah, I'm number one. I'm number one.
So that's why we need you to meet them. We need that
I
to
need
happen.
to meet them. I need to meet them.
And then when you post your photos with them, you can caption it world's #1 Portion Boys fan. And that would be a fact, not an opinion.
Oh my God, that's so crazy. Anyway, back to Slovenia.
Yes. Anything else to speak on, Miss Slovenia?
I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait for the song to come out. I'm happy to see that they're choosing someone who's maybe a little bit less safe, actually. Like having Joker out, they were kind of like a boy band that's a little bit, mainstream music. Her music doesn't seem to be necessarily mainstream. So I always like it when people take a risk. And I think this is a really good direction for Slovenia. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this announcement.
Yeah, I'm very excited as well. This is just like my message to Raiven. Like, you used to follow me on Instagram, but you unfollowed me. So can we, now that you're going to Eurovision, like, can you refollow me? But okay, so like from Finland, let's move to their neighbor, Estonia.
Oh my God, we still have Estonia to talk about. Bitch, I think we've been on this call for like over an hour. This is great. Okay.
I know. Okay, so all of the songs competing in Eesti Laul 2024 were released, and we've got thoughts, I think. So upon first release, at first I was, saving, like listening to them or whatever. And so I was just seeing like, kind of what people were saying online. And then I went and I just listened to like a little recap or whatever. I listened to like a few songs and those really caught my eye. And I remember thinking, oh my God, actually, well, basically I based my opinion off of loving 2 songs. I said, oh my God, this is a great year for Eesti Laul. And I tweeted that out, but I hadn't listened to all the songs and I hadn't listened to them in full at all. And so then when I went and did that, I said, oh, maybe everybody was dragging me on Twitter when I said that. And then, you know what? Y'all were all right. Sometimes that's what sometimes Twitter humblings are valid and justified, because I really needed that, because yeah, y'all were right. So if we've talked about Eesti Laul a few times, I feel like, on here when we got the artists and stuff like that. But the way the format is working this time is there's a semifinal and then there's also 5 automatic qualifiers. So starting with the automatic qualifiers, I know, Renata, you totally missed them, and that's what's confusing a little bit. That's what gets confusing about these automatic qualifiers, right? Because sometimes they're not included in these recaps because they're not in the semifinal, and it's like, oh, semifinal recap, and you're like, whatever. So we're gonna do what we've done in the past before. She's gonna give a little listen, and we'll get her raw thoughts on all of these songs, and I'll give my thoughts as well, of course.
Well, first one is, we had actually done a little bit of a test earlier on screen sharing. So I used the Brother Apollo Bad Boy song as the test, and I am not going to subject myself to that song again for the purposes of this podcast. So I will just tell you that I hated it, and I hated it, and I also hated it.
I didn't hate it that bad, but I like the instrumental. I actually enjoyed their visuals a little bit. I thought they were I like the suggestion of them. However, upon execution, it's one of the songs where oh wait, when you actually hear the lyrics, so you're like, girl, what? What are you even saying? Cheesy and cringe lyrics, girl. Bad boy. Girl, you ain't no bad boy. You ain't no bad boy. You don't know nothing about being a bad boy. This is giving Disney Channel bad boy. Soundtrack. Oh, we're going to say all the generic. It's say, ripped jeans, tattoos, piercings. Bitch, shut up. No, what about drugs?
Ha ha! For real, though.
And we got And we got some of that later on in Eesti Laul, let me tell you.
You know, honestly, the whole vibe of it, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but the whole vibe of it was like, it sounds like a band that if you would have had the cast of I Love or I Love Daisy. What is it? 𝗬𝗫𝗆𝗆 de la Hoya. So Rock of Love with Bret Michaels, the VH1 dating show. There was this girl. It's called Daisy of Love. There was this girl named Daisy who was on the Rock of Love show, and she didn't get picked to be the winner, so they gave her her own show. And they had all of these guys on her show, and they were all like this bad boy, ripped jeans, tattoos, piercings type guys. And it's like the type of song that those guys would make, like if they had a challenge to make a song. Like that's what it was like. And I will plug, there is a YouTuber called Lynn Human, Linn Human. She's from Pittsburgh.
What?
Yes, and she.
Why is everybody from Pittsburgh?
I know. She's been doing these rewatch videos where like she goes and she did all of the Rock of Love, and they're hilarious. And they're like she like reacts to Rock of Love, and she just did Daisy of Love as well. And these videos are so funny. And there was a day where I was watching it, and she said a specific word, and I can't remember what it was, but it was the most Pittsburgh fucking accent. I was like, oh my God, this girl has got to be from Pittsburgh, because nobody else would say that word like that. And it turns out she actually is from Pittsburgh. So if you like that type of stuff, go check out Lynn Human's channel, because honestly, she's so hilarious.
I might have to. I never got into Rock of Love. I loved Flavor of Love. Like I'm a Flavor of Love stan. Like I've seen every season like multiple times. I only know 𝗫𝗄𝘅𝘆. I think she was from Rock of Love. 𝗫𝗄𝘅𝘅.
Oh, she's super problematic.
I know, but so she was on
back then.
Big
She
Brother
wasn't
UK.
though.
She was on Big Brother UK, and so that's how I know her, because she was kind of. I mean, she was problematic, but like in an iconic way on Big Brother UK. Like she was just like always starting fights and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, you know what it also gives me is like there's always these TikTok boys that I see that are like clearly trying to appeal to the kind of like emo, like maybe like trying to be the new age, maybe like Green Day. I don't know. I don't really listen to those groups, but like that vibe. But it's so cringe, and it's like you're clearly appealing to like little girls, and you're kind of also like child friendly, but like it just doesn't work. This one ain't working for me. Not at all. So then next up we have Carlos 𝗥𝗏𝘆𝘆.
It might be 𝗥𝗏𝘆𝘆.
𝗥𝗏𝘆𝘆. Never Growing Up. So let's get your thoughts on this live.
Carlos 𝗥𝗏𝘆𝘆, Never Growing Up.
Because mind you, these are the finalists, so we know these are going to be in. So I think these are very important to highlight.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. This is definitely very American Eagle retail song. For Europeans who don't know what American Eagle is, it's like a kind of like basic, I don't know, trendy clothes. Or I don't even know if it's really trendy, really. It's just kind of like a preppy.
It's just clothes.
It's just clothes.
Yeah.
It's just clothes.
No, you can't say preppy anymore, because that means something different nowadays.
I mean, this is just, I don't know. I don't want to say like Ed Sheeran or whatever, but it's just kind of like, it's just like a boy pop, acoustic pop. I don't know. Never Growing Up is kind of corny. The video is not giving. His singing sounds fine. Oh God, go from breaking up to making love. That is a country music line right there. Yeah.
So that's the one that goes, so we go from breaking up to make. I will say, girl, I listened to that song one time. It's stuck in my head. Like I know the melody. So maybe that means something.
But that's because it's like a country song. Like it's like a Nashville country song.
Yeah, to me, it just exists.
Yeah. Yeah, I could leave that one.
Yeah, and frankly, that's like kind of my opinion of a lot of these songs, unfortunately. So like Daniel Levy, who like I have really, really high expectations for with Over the Moon. Oh my gosh.
Oh wait, I think I did actually listen to this one.
Hmm.
and it's just like a just like nothing special. Doesn't really build anywhere.
No.
Yeah, that one does nothing for me.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed. I mean, of course, like, he sent a bop last time. Of course, I loved it. But I do feel like he could be a potential winner. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I saw Alika posted a photo of her on some
Oh.
Christmas show, and he was on it with 𝗥𝗶𝗆𝘆 and other Eurovision artists, and then there he was.
Okay, so he's got
So
people around him with a lot of experience.
yeah, like going through his page, he seems like a big name. And I don't really know, but like based on his Instagram, he looks like he does a lot of like shows and stuff like that. Like he's gonna be a familiar face, which makes sense, I guess, why they picked him for an automatic finalist. But I don't know why. I just like I got the vibes because I don't actually think this is horrible. Like of all the slow songs, I actually kind of like this one a little bit, but and I actually think he's really hot. I think he's
Really?
really hot. Yeah, I do. But he has a wife and a child.
Mm, hate when that
So
happens.
that's what I'm saying. So, it is what it is. Um, Girl, we got this Nele Lis Valksu.
Like, so,
Girl.
okay, let's see this. 𝗤𝗍𝗆. Okay, wintertime. Yes, it's cold in Estonia, we know. I mean, it sounds it sounds like a song. It doesn't seem like it's really building anywhere. I mean, the vocals are cool. I like that it's kind of atmospheric, but I don't think that's really good for Eurovision. Like, you want
Mhm.
a song with like a hook in it. And I mean, obviously, I don't like ballads, but
There's a lot of ballads in this selection.
yeah. Yeah, that's not exciting to me at all.
It's a no. And
So
and
no.
you know, next up was Udo Sepp and Sarah Marie. Still love, girl. You could tell by my notes by the time I got to this song, I literally wrote, "Girl, I don't give a fuck." Because I just was like, "Girl, these are the automatic ones. Why y'all fill in the final with ballads and boring shit?" Like the only exciting one is Brother Apollo, Bad Boy. At least that one made me feel something, even if it was
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
Most of these just don't make me feel anything.
I have to say that the cover of this video is hilarious because it's like a split screen and the guy looks like he's like passing a wet fart, and then the girl looks like she's
Oh my God.
also maybe passing a wet fart, but in a forest.
Oh my God, you're right.
Okay. So duets are always a little bit iffy for me. Satellites all look like stars. Okay. This is very coffee house. Like this would be on the Starbucks soundtrack.
Oh God.
I love you from afar. I love you like a fart.
Well, I mean, we could tell that
Yeah.
from the thumbnail.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also going to be a no from me, sadly.
Yeah, all those automatic qualifiers.
What were they
Criminal.
thinking?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is this? It's ridiculous.
Like, I
I'm
love
upset.
Eesti Laul. It's one of my favorite competitions. It always has been, but they always have this problem where they downgrade or eliminate really good songs, and then like that's really the cream of their crop. I mean,
Yeah,
I
like
don't
that's a
think
bad
so.
sign.
Based on the semifinalists, the ones who actually have to compete, like I think there's much better songs in there than in those. I could lose every single one of those.
Yeah, all of those feel like songs that would be lost in a semi. And so I see why they had to push them into the final. Because what the fuck?
They would be lost in
Um,
a semi in a normal country, but Eesti Laul has the most bizarre taste out there.
yeah, I don't get it at all. And I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. I don't get and just looking at everybody, I don't get why there's so many ballads. I mean, I get it. Y'all did good with Alika, but ain't nothing. and I didn't even love that song, but hey, none of these
Either.
songs even hold a candle to, well, none of them. None of the ballads hold a candle to
Bridges. Yeah, agreed.
at all. None of them have the power. None of them have like any of that. And yeah, so I mean, we don't have to go through every single song in depth, but there are some songs that really stand out for me that I really, really love. And that first on the list, which is the one that you had pointed out when we were just doing the artists and the song things, where you were like, oh, I'm really interested in that 5 minutes in their song because of the fucking crazy ass long ass title. And let me tell you, bitch, you were right. Your spidey senses were tingling, and they were tingling for sure, because this song is so fucking good. So remember when I mentioned drugs? You want to know what the title of this translates to? We, parentheses, do know nothing about, parentheses, these drugs. That's what it. So we know nothing about drugs, but with the parentheses, we do know nothing about these drugs. So, girl, I didn't even know that title until today, whenever I was watching Eurovision Tom's reaction and he did the translations. I was like, because this song, girl, yes. First of all, the ethnic kind of cultural rap, vibe, all of those vibes, bitch, insane. Like nothing like that. First of all, this is the type of shit I would love to see more from Estonia, and this is the type of shit I've always wanted Estonia to send. It's crazy, it's wacky, it's weird, and I know you love that kind of shit from Estonia, but something about this one feels like it's also refined and like ready for Eurovision and could bring a really good result. It's not just crazy for no fucking reason. It all has purpose, and it's also a fucking good song.
Yeah, and I know that people always hate it when you make comparisons to other songs, but the feeling that I got when I was watching this one was very similar to the feeling that I got when I watched the 𝗏𝘅𝘆𝘆 video for the first time, where it was just like, oh, fuck, okay, like this thing is really well put together. It's got all the right elements. It's got the right amount of the elements. Nothing is really overpowering one or the other. It's really dynamic. It's exciting. It doesn't really sound like anything else, but it also at the same time sounds a little bit familiar enough that it's not totally out of the box. Like it's still accessible, even though it's wacky. And there's a dance that goes along to it. I was just like, this is a winner. This is a top 3 televote situation. If they can pull it off live, I think that, I mean, we'll talk about the other ones, but I think that the Estonian people would be foolish to not choose this song. This is clearly the best song in the selection to me.
Yeah, and it makes me really scared because I do feel like Estonia has like a track record of not rewarding fun in terms of who they end up selecting. Like, I mean, I just think of everybody that they've sent. I mean, you guys sent 𝗥𝗶𝘆𝗆 2 years in a row. Like, you didn't actually have to. Estonia, like, they still did Eesti Laul, right? And he still
don't know. Did he?
Time, right? No, bitch, they did Eesti Laul.
Wow, and he won twice. That's crazy.
So here's the fucking thing, guys. So Estonia, y'all's network gave you the option to do a reverse on that decision y'all made when you voted for him to win that first time, and y'all voted for him again. I don't know what the hell y'all are thinking, because you got some amazing songs, amazing artists. You got so much in front of you. Don't fuck this up. But with that being said, I feel as though this is not going to be that case, because he is already #1 in the Estonian charts. Immediately, as soon as the song basically came out, #1. And that, I was seeing that like has not happened at least in a very long time. Even for the songs to like get up there in the charts, but like when they are first released, this is already #1, bitch. So that tells me the Estonian public is behind this.
Yeah.
They're already into this song. And I think it's just good. And that's before we even see the live performers or nothing. Girl, I'm excited.
It would be really disappointing if they chose like a ballad over this song, because like I said, when I seen the title, it reminded me of the Winnie Pooh song, and they came second to a ballad. And it's like, I really just don't want them to make that same mistake again. So I'm really hoping that they don't. Although there are some other good songs, and anything can happen when you do the performances. But yeah, I mean, this one blew me away. Really, really blew me away.
It's been on repeat for me too. Like that's the thing. It's just a good song too to like, and it's fun. Oh, I love it so much. I even, this is one of the songs I sent to my boyfriend and I said, "Bitch, look how cool this is." Like, and I love something like that because it feels like the spirit of Eurovision and also a great representative of Estonia and culture and music. And just come on, guys, come on.
If they get chosen, this will be the most like alt edgy Eurovision ever.
I know. Oh my God. I really hope. Literally, because based on those fucking finalists, I really don't want to go to Eesti Laul. But based on the idea of, but I will literally go to fucking Eesti Laul just to see them.
Yeah, totally.
Like, that will make it all worth it. So some, I really actually like this Serotonin song from Annette. I like a little Estonian cheesy bop. It's just, it sounds like something that I'll add to my playlist. I'll vibe out to. It ain't gonna win. It's not competitive, but I love a little Estonian bop.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like this kind of cheesy song. It feels familiar to me, like the type of thing that I listened to when I was in high school. So, I mean, like, yeah, it didn't stand out to me as being like, oh, super wow winner, but good enough to listen to again.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like Estonia does those well most of the time. I feel like every year I'm expecting like at least one little Estonian girl bop that I'm gonna love. And this was the one. But then 𝗪𝗪𝗪, girl, I love their other entries, but girl, it's sounding the same. This is all the same shit at this point. And this one is the worst of them all, of all of your entries, I'm sorry to say. It's just literally, I'm like skipping through the song and it sounds the same the whole way through.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm like, oh my God, is there anything else to this damn song? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would definitely go to their concert. They seem like I think the music is fine enough. Like I would go to their concert and see them play live, but I'm not sure that I would add the song to the playlist, if that makes sense. Like I just feel like it's maybe not the right song for the contest.
I do like it, but it is just like when we've seen you before, like a couple of times. Come on, bring something else. Bring it back. Bring it back.
It's the 𝗫𝗆𝘆𝗆𝘆 effect, but I know we're going to talk about her in a little bit.
Well, we can talk about her right now if we want, because what the fuck was that? Seriously? So this is horrible. This is literally so fucking bad. And this woman astounds me. Every single entry gets worse. She is truly breaking barriers in which she is really showing that some people just cannot grow. There's no growth and improvement. Sometimes it actually does not get better, it gets worse.
Somebody had posted like a list of her like chartings, like her songs with the charts, and literally her songs either go in like the top 10 of the charts or don't chart at all. Like there is no middle ground. Like it either is a song, and I love Verona. That is like my favorite Estonian entry. I fucking love the shit out of that song. But then she had like a song in 𝗏𝗏𝗆 that wasn't any good. What's so funny is that when the picture came out of her and her song, I was like, oh, weird. That looks like a freakazoid 𝗫𝗆𝘆𝗆𝘆. And then I was like, oh my God, wait, it actually is her. Like, whoa, because she's like blonde now. She always had dark hair before.
She changes her look like every fucking time. It's like wild.
It just keeps changing to see what will work, and nothing's working.
Well, and that's the thing, like she sounds like a different genre every time. I'm like, she has had so many songs in the Eurovision universe, and none of them are similar. And I have no fucking idea who she is as an artist at all. Like, I don't know if she does this on purpose for the memes or what. It's like actually absurd. And this one is an extra level because not only is it like a horrible song or whatever for for Eesti Laul, but it's also like it's got this other aspect to it. It's like a skincare ad.
I can't stop laughing. So she is in a partnership with like a skincare shampoo body care company called Forget and or Forget About Tomorrow, I think maybe is the full name of the company. But they do a star, like an asterisk on the O, so it's like 𝗨_RGET. And the first time I looked at it, I absolutely subconsciously read the F slur. And I was like, what the hell is that? And other people pointed out that there's like on the label, it also says moisturizing and the O is an asterisk. And they were like, oh, it's the 𝗨 masturbation shampoo. Like, what is this?
Oh my God.
But it's like, and even there's just been so many memes. Like the memes of just then I've literally reshared every single Forget meme because it's just they're so funny. You know, everyone posting these pictures like before and after using Laura's shampoo. I mean, it's just it's so funny. Like I'm even though the song sucks, like I'm glad that we got the content of it because this is really one of the most entertaining aspects of the season so far, and there's nothing negative about it. Like there's no drama attached to it. It's just Laura being Laura.
Yeah, this is the fun. I mean, maybe you know, I am being negative. Maybe that can be interpreted as negative, but it's fun. It's lighthearted. It's cute. It's fun. And you know what? We gotta actually stand her for the memes of it all. Yeah, she really brings it. She brings it every single time. I'm sure she's sitting there. Maybe I like to think she's sitting there really thinking, how can I make these F slurs gag? And,
she gagged us.
The other funny thing about the skincare thing is the fact that it's literally like, it looked like it was like her own products, but it's literally just her face on products that already exist. And so people had there's like a side by side of like all her products next to the regular ones, and all you're buying is a picture of her face on the bottle. So funny.
And apparently you can buy this red swimsuit that she's wearing in the ad with the F star. I'm literally considering it.
We should get it, honestly.
Wear to the saunas in Finland. Our 𝗨 bathing suits.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? Honestly, frankly, Queen.
Yes.
Well, speaking of Queen, girl, to me, the only other song that I care about in the selection truly came from Cecilia with her song FOMO. Girl.
Yeah.
This song is so fucking good. The first time I heard it, I thought I heard this before I heard the other long title one that we're tentatively, like, you know, looking for a acronym to work for that. But before I heard that one, I heard this one. I thought, oh, this gotta fucking win. This is so fucking good. This gives me best vibes. And somebody was fighting with me on Twitter because they said they didn't see it. So you could let me know because you know best too. To me, this gave me like the vibes of a song I could hear off of like a best album with like the instrumental and everything. Oh, and the fucking lyric, God made me an Aquarius to make my life luxurious. Oh, I know. Oh, it's so good. Oh my God.
Well, your wig's all crazy now.
Hold on.
You headbang those headphones right off.
I know. Oh my God. I love this song so much. Girl, I just love this song so much. Like, it's so good. This is the only thing that would make it better. No, honestly, it was good. I was gonna say, if it was an Estonian bitch, this would be my shit. Can we get an Estonian version?
Alika did that. She does that with her songs, puts out Estonian versions. I love this one. I like that it was very Eurodance, and I'm a Eurodance girly, always have been. So, I mean, that made me feel really excited. Again, this is another one of those things where it's like, okay, more like nostalgic genres for me coming out. Like, this is one of those things that happens when you get older. It's like everything that's old becomes new again. And I feel like a lot of the things that that I grew up on are now like coming back because people are starting to feel nostalgic for those things. So I'm happy for that reason. But yeah, anytime any Eurodance anything comes out, like no choice but to stand.
But this doesn't sound like maybe some other ones where it sounds like, oh, this came out in 2005. This has nostalgic, but it also, to me, feels like 2024.
Yes, like one of the songs that was in this selection, the Oblivion song by Multicast and 𝗍𝗏𝘅𝘆. That one, it has kind of like a dubstep kind of beat to it. And dubstep is one of those things that's really, really dated to me. Like it's too far. It's like, it's the milk that's gone sour, but it's not sour cream yet. Like,
yeah, I agree. There's a fine line for me when it comes to that kind of that world of music. And that song, like, I will say, I think it's better than the one he sent with his fucking band, because I was excited about their band, and that song flopped. The one from 𝗍𝗏𝘅 and the Two Dragons, Hold Me Now, boring, bitch. I'm so fucking disappointed in that shit. And again, this was one that I was skipping through to like refresh my mind before we started filming. Girl, I was like, oh my God, the whole song sounds the same. There are no levels to that thing. Like, it's crazy. And, you know, if you're not like Monica, and you're going to send Monica from Lithuania, but I can't say, I don't remember her last name. And they've already had 2 recent Monicas. But the one that didn't go to Eurovision, not 𝗥𝗏𝘅𝘆, not Lou. She didn't go to Eurovision, but she's the one that entered her 2 songs in the same year of selection. That Monica, that though both songs were great when she did that. This time this guy did this. No, it wasn't giving. It was not giving. So I guess, you know, speaking of giving, maybe is 𝗬𝗆. So here's the thing. I will die if he wins, frankly. Yeah. Because like those other 2 songs that I love, compared to this, oh my God, it's just like, it's so like, speaking of dated, frankly, and like stuff that feels like it's referential from the past, but not in a good way. I'm just like, I'm so over it. Like, dated rock. Ugh.
Yeah, this song to me, I don't know if you know 𝗏𝗏𝘆. For listeners who maybe don't know, 𝗏𝗏𝘆 is kind of like a syndicated like radio network in the United States, and their tagline is "We play anything" or "We play everything." And this just sounded like one of the random rock songs that I would hear come up on 𝗏𝗏𝘆 when I'm driving through rural Pennsylvania and I only have 2 options, and it's like that and then like Christian radio, and it's like, well, I guess I'll listen to the rock song. But only because there's like no other good option. That's what it felt like for me, this one.
Yeah, and it's kind of killing me how people are still saying like, this has to win. I know y'all, you know what, frankly, y'all rock fans, y'all need to expect more from rock bands. You can't just stand every single rock band that comes into these contests. Like, this is not cute. Like, you really love this? Like, I get it. Like, if you're a rock fan, like the same way, like we love pop music. So like when there's a pop song, yeah, most of the time I do love it. But like, come on, guys, like be for real. Be for real about this. But I will say, we know, we have confidence in his live performance. Whereas with the 5 Minutes guys and Cecilia, I don't know them. I don't know how they're going to perform that. I know he can perform this well. So like, there is something, you know, it's not horrible, I suppose, but it's just like not something that I need to see in Eurovision. Like, 𝗬𝗆 is an amazing performer, and I just feel like I would love him to have more of his own identity when it comes to his music, because he's so good as an artist, or as like a singer, and like his talent, he's amazing. And I do love a little screamy rock here and there. But I just like, come on, find yourself, find your, you know, don't, when your stuff sounds like it could just come from any other bitch, then So.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of that in this selection. It like could have come from anyone kind of thing.
Exactly. Like basically everybody else that we haven't talked about. Traffic song, 𝗠𝘅𝘅𝘆.
I liked it.
I liked it too. That one I feel like it could grow on me more through a live performance. I thought it was pretty good. But a lot of these, I'm just like literally a lot of my notes on these was meh. I mean, fine, like whatever, because it's just like a lot of these just make me feel nothing. A lot of these feel just like, okay, cool. And it's kind of crazy to me because last year's Eesti Laul, looking back, seemed like a fucking all-stars Eesti Laul. We had so many amazing artists, Andreas, 𝗤𝗍, Inger, or
yeah,
like
really
all these.
I recently looked at my national finals playlist, where I just put any song in a national final that I like, I throw it into the playlist. The highest number of songs actually came from Eesti Laul last year.
Yeah. 𝗏. Oh my God.
Yes.
Like there were so many fucking good songs last year, and it's like, damn. I mean, but you know what? I'm gonna look at it on the bright side, which is what I try to remind myself when there's situations like this. But you know what? There are two songs that I really, really love.
Yeah.
Like I think are amazing.
And they're gonna choose a song that you hate.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I really should be saying like, oh, 𝗏𝗆 is my favorite, because every time my favorites lose Eesti Laul. Like I don't think I've ever had a favorite win.
It's the Eesti Laul curse.
Ever. Like truly. I mean, I liked Hope. I don't think I've ever had an Eesti Laul winner win. Ever. Maybe not even ever make it to that fucking no, that's not true. 𝗏𝗅𝘅 made it to the super final. But like, girl, my people are cursed.
Oh, I hate super finals.
I know. And like it's hard because I actually like it is kind of fair in a way. Like because then like sometimes we complain like about Lithuania last year, where it was like they skewed towards the jury.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, at least the super final in Eesti Laul is the public's choice. But like let's just save that for like when there's a tie.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that every time. But who knows? Because low-key, maybe that'll work in 5 Minutes' favor. I don't know.
Yeah, it could. There was one other song that I actually did like. I liked Inga's No Dog on a Leash.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a cool vibe. It was another one. A lot of these songs sounded like retail songs that you would hear when you're shopping. And that's not always a bad thing. In fact, I would love to talk to one of the people who chooses those retail soundtracks. Like when I worked in the mall, I know for a fucking fact that whoever put together the soundtrack for the limited one year was doing a study abroad when I was doing a study abroad, because it was like The Boy Does Nothing by Alicia Dixon was on this soundtrack. And I was like, ain't no American who knows that song who wasn't living in Europe in 2009. Like, and there were other examples of it too, where I was like, this was a Euro hit. Like, what is that doing on the soundtrack?
See, and vice versa. At my new job, girl, they got me making those playlists, I feel like, because they got Grimes. They added Christmas music, girl, and guess who played? RuPaul.
What?
RuPaul, girl. Deck the halls. Deck the halls. Come on, everybody, everyone around the world, gonna deck the, which I hate that song. Well, I love it, but I hate it because Todrick Hall's in it. But anyways, I was a little triggered. I heard Todrick Hall's voice at my job. I said, oh, wait. But then I was like, wait, that's RuPaul. It's like, why do I know the words to this song? I was like, that's RuPaul. So I don't know. Whoever's doing it at my job, they are killing it. Keep it up. Okay. Any other songs we even need to talk about? Because like, frankly,
I mean, I feel like we covered most of them. Yeah, I mean, I think we've been on the call for about 2 hours now. Actually, I'm looking at our real thing up in the corner and it says 3.5 hours.
I know. I'm like, oh.
Okay, and just one little update because we had some really exciting news come in today. I made a reservation for the 𝗏𝗅𝘅𝘆 Airbnb, and we are going to stay in the 𝗏𝗅𝘅𝘆 Airbnb. And right after I did that, I went shopping, and while I was shopping, as soon as I walked in the store, I found this green
Oh,
purse, and it is literally the 𝗤𝗫𝗃𝗃 green, the Kari green, and it's even got studs on it.
that is so cute. I
And
love
it's
that bag.
just like the perfect little, like tiny, like little handbag, and it's just
Yeah.
enough to like fit your cell phone and some other
That's a
like
nice like
stuff.
concert one if you like need a small bag or whatever, like, or just going out and you don't want it to mess with your look too.
Yeah, little crossbody. So I think I'm going to wear this in Finland. This will be my little purse that I use in Finland. So if you made it to the end of the episode, drop a purse emoji in the chat to say that you have heard
Ooh.
about my new cute, adorable little green purse.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And yeah, that Katia Airbnb, you were crazy for that. When I woke up to that text, I was like, wait, maybe not woke up. I was at work. So whenever I remember I was like doing something, so I didn't see what you had said. And I was like, no, bitch, get it.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we need that fucking Airbnb. So that's gonna be once in a lifetime, all that. I'm so fucking excited. It's all becoming so close. It's becoming so real. Ah!
No, it's
Oh my
wild.
God.
It's so exciting. And so much more Finland news coming up in the future, guys. You gotta
Just
wait and hear it to believe it.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And so if you want to keep up with all this drama, make sure you follow both of us on our social medias. Mine all at 𝗥𝗶hy Rainbow.
And I am Espot Pod.
And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the episodes. Turn on notifications. I never say that, but turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the premieres, you don't miss any of the videos or any of the posts. And also don't forget to subscribe to our Patreon. Of course, we do have a new Patreon exclusive over there where we watch the Fire Saga movie, Eurovision movie over there, and do a little watch party and react to some of the clips. And if you don't want to miss out on any of that, make sure you subscribe over to the Patreon.
And I'm doing reaction videos again now that the season started. Yes. So you can see Maxxy's reactions and you can also see my reactions because I'm getting that started back up.
Oh my gosh, there's so much exciting stuff going on with the Eurovision season. So yeah, guys, until next week, we will see you all later.